Okay, guys, this one's going to be a pre-recorded one. Again, another couple of issues with TradingView. I've obviously tried to upload what I can to YouTube, but actually yesterday the recording of the recording didn't actually work. So what I'll do is I'll cover a little bit of info on today's situation, and obviously a little bit on yesterday in terms of what the stream itself was covering. I do assume that some of you guys would have saw it live, because obviously I was getting feedback at the time. So I think obviously I'll just record this one and then I'll stick this straight up to YouTube, and then I'll try backpedaling it into TradingView if at all possible. So let's kick it off. So I guess to start with, what I'm looking at is the Weiss. I'm going to cover this again because this is obviously quite critical, really, in terms of the bigger picture. So what I'll do, I'll take the stochastic off for now. I'll just get rid of volume. Let me just take this out, and we're obviously left with this overall. So first things first, out on the weekly time frame. What I've obviously tried to cover is that on the starting process, you're looking at the different time ranges. Um, let's go on date range. So for me, the obvious thing is obviously three. So I'm going to assume that three started obviously around this level and finished up there. So we've got just over a year, obviously here. Now, if we look at then the two move, which I would suggest starts obviously here and finishes at the end there, we've obviously got a two move sitting there, which means this was clearly the three, and therefore this is obviously the four. Okay, so if we now look back, and obviously I'll use the time frames again, stick the date range in. So obviously from the beginning here to the previous high, we talk in 200 and odd days. We talk in a year, so again 6 months or more, a year or more, and therefore I don't think that a four move is going to happen anytime soon. I don't think it's going to just dart up. Now that obviously is the main look at this, and if we look at the last candle, people are saying, oh, we've had a lot of volume. 2 weeks ago, guys, everybody was calling this the spring. That doesn't look like a spring, and this doesn't look impulsive enough to begin a five move, which should look something like this: 0 to 1, obviously back down for a two, push up 3, 4, and 5, obviously into the future. So looking at the Elliott logic, nothing really stacks up for this to be out of its bearish momentum at the moment. So for me, I'm still bearish. That's what I'm seeing. This is some of the logic, apply, and it's kind of simple logic. It's nothing too complicated there in terms of what I'm actually suggesting. I don't think that was the spring. We've obviously got these moves, that I'm expecting to see, and I'm still looking at the weekly time frame. So what I'll do is I'll drop down now to the daily, and again, pretty much the same. If we stick the stochastic on, stick the volume stochastic on, you know, similar kind of momentum. We've had this real crazy spike up in the last 3 days, and the price has actually got nowhere. So that doesn't look impulsive enough for me. We've got this in terms of the stochastic. RSI is still down low, and we've actually got tapering volume rather than increasing volume. So the reality is, with everything we've just said, we've got logic for this move to play out over a longer period. We've actually got tapering volume on the smaller time frame on the daily, and obviously we're still in this kind of sideways range, as a whole. So nothing really exciting for me on all of this right now still. And I know I keep saying the same thing in terms of where it is. I'm just trying to hammer home, obviously, this logic as a whole. So I hope this obviously makes sense, so far. If we drop down a time frame, let's go into, say, a 4 hour. I've got a couple of trends and channels that I've actually drawn in and on this kind of already. So I'll just leave these ones on for now. So, guys, on a 4 hour time frame, this is what I'm seeing right now. We're up in the overbought situation. We have got a false bar, so expect this to create a nice ascending channel, but we're actually only at the 50% marker of the kind of almighty channel on the smaller time frame. So the reality is a bounce in and up and off this is to be expected. we've got confirmation on this. We still bearish bigger picture. So for me, it's sideways and down still, and that's really all I can say on Bitcoin at the moment. So I hope this one helps, and obviously we'll be doing more streams probably next week now. Yeah, unless obviously something changes that's actually worth talking about over the weekend. So have a good weekend, and we'll speak next week.